Saying that something was 20 years ago today does not mean the same thing that 20 years ago meant to me when I was growing up. This film came out 20 years ago, but it doesn't really feel like it was that long ago. Aside from the fact that they just had flip phones instead of iPhones, this feels like a modern story. This feels like what high school probably feels like today. Now, 20 years later that we have this remake, it's like the difference in quality and style is pretty minimal. To the point where even though this is a musical, it almost feels like this is way too soon for this. I know it's a remake, but it's a modern remake, right? And it feels the same. I was entering my teen years when Mean Girls came out, and if you go 20 years before that, you have films like this. This is such a different vibe. It's such a different, level of quality. When I was a kid in 2004, this felt like it was eons before my time. It just felt different. It just has this, different vibe, this different glow. And the jump from this to this is it felt like you were in a different era. You were in a different time. I don't feel like going from this to this feels like a different era of film. It's just kind of the same thing, really. The same can be said for music, too. You know what came out in 2004? Yeah, it's slightly dated, but it still feels like a modern pop song. 20 years before that, again, feels like a totally different era. It has a completely different vibe. But you tell me, is this just a product of me being in my 30s? Or is this do other people feel like this too?